So good morning, guys. Morning, everyone. So yesterday I gave an I covered testing life cycle and functional testing versus non-functional testing, and I gave an introduction to performance testing. Right. So today we'll discuss performance testing in detail in what is performance testing life cycle. Okay. So we'll discuss performance testing in detail first. Then what is performance testing? Testing life cycle. What is performance testing life cycle? All right. So that yeah. So yesterday we discussed, right, what is performance testing, guys, by the way. What is performance testing? Geeta, do you have Geeta today?
Hello.
Yeah, what is performance testing?
Performance testing, it is a non-functional testing.
Okay.
It is verifies the behavior of the application.
Okay.
Mean it is performed how it is behaving. What is the speed?
Okay.
Okay. What is the stability, scalability?
Right. Yeah.
Performance testing.
Right. Okay. Santosh, can you define what is performance testing?
Sir, different performance testing.
Can you define performance testing?
Definition, I don't know, sir.
So at least when I ask Geeta, you should pay attention, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Chandrasekhar. Did Venkatesh join? Chandrasekhar, what is performance testing? Yes. So if you cannot say, say yes or no. Okay, say that you don't know. So let's not waste everyone's time. So pass it on. I'll ask someone else. Anuja, what is performance testing, Anuja?
It is a non-functional testing. It is to determine the system application speed, scalability, reliability, and
right. So it is used to determine an application speed, stability, scalability, and reliability. Okay. Yes, please, please go through the recording sessions once. If you take running notes, if you write it once, right, that is equal to reading 10 times, right? There is a saying that writing one time is equal to reading 10 times, isn't it? So take some running notes. Okay. Or else go through the recording session. I'm sharing the recording session, right? Are you going through that after the session? So please go through it once, particularly non-computers background guys. So please go through the recording session once and take the running notes at least at that time. Okay. Guys, we will have the assessment in the first 10 minutes daily. We will have daily assessment. Otherwise, you will not focus. You will not pay attention. So class cheppinappudu you feel that okay, I understood everything. But if you cannot answer basic questions also like this, there is no use of joining the training, isn't it? So I'll ask everyone. Name by name. Understood, guys? So please go through the recording session once after the session. Okay, and I'll share the training material, this PPT also, to those who confirm their joining. So today I'll share it. After the session, I'll share it so that you can refer to the training material and you can and prepare for the next day's assessment. But we will have daily assessment, yes. And everyone should be focused and should be answering. Right. So what are the 4 major factors for doing performance testing? We discussed this, right, yesterday, with speed, stability, scalability, and reliability. So these are the 4 major factors for doing performance testing. First one is speed. Speed means to check if the application responds quick enough for the intended users. and response time should be within the SLS. So what is meant by response time? First of all, what is meant by a response time? Yes, what is meant by response time?
Mean what we gave
Time.
the time.
How much
Time
time?
required to load a
How-
page.
yeah. What is
Right.
the
Time required to load the page, or how many seconds the page is taking to load, right? Time required to load the page, or how many seconds it is taking to load the page, right? Now that is response time, right? So response time should be within SLS. What is meant by SLA?
Service level agreement.
Service level agreement, right? So when any application is being developed by developers, right, they will get some SLS from the client. Client will say that my home page should not take more than 2 seconds. My login transaction should not take more than 3 seconds. They will have certain SLS like this. Understood? So some examples are, so home page, for home page, these are just examples only, depends on application to application. So home page, response time should be below 2 seconds. Or login should not take more than 3 seconds, something like this, right? Now, response time, each response time of each page should be within the SLS. Or, if you are trying to, if the application involves some making payment, so that payment should not take more than 4 seconds. Or logout should not take more than 2 seconds, something like this, guys. Understood? So they will have certain SLS, response time SLS. Okay. Response time SLS.
Hi, Bon.
So these are just examples only, some example numbers only. Okay. So response time should be within the SLS. When you check speed, right? This is how you check. You check if the response times are within the SLS or not. Clear?
So, Pawan, I have a doubt here.
Yeah, one second. Yeah, tell me.
So sometimes response time will depend on the internet connection as well, right? So what we do at that time? How do we consider that scenario?
Okay, we will check on ideal conditions. So if internet is slow on the user side, that is a user side issue. That's not an application issue, isn't it? So we need not bother about that. If a user is on a slow connection, so that we need not bother about that because that is a user side issue. Okay. Yeah. Now, what is stability? Yesterday we discussed this also. Stability means to check how stable the application is under expected and unexpected user load. So let's say an expected user load of an application is, let's say 1 lakh users. Let's say, if we take if we take some e-commerce applications like Amazon or Flipkart. Let's say the expected user load is 1 lakh users. Means generally on an average, like there will be 1 lakh users on these e-commerce applications. Now, whenever you have a flash sale or big billion day sale, right? Then at that time, you cannot expect the number of users, isn't it? Right? Whenever you have a flash sale or a big billion sale, so you will have some unexpected user load. We cannot say exactly like, what would be the average user load, isn't it? So that is what unexpected user load means, right? Application performance should not degrade even after very long time, even after using for a very long time also. The application performance should not degrade even though we are using the application for very long time, right? So that is stability of the application. And what is scalability? Scalability means can the application handle unexpected user load and how does it behave beyond its capacity? Beyond its capacity means, let's say, 1 lakh user load is the normal capacity or normal user load on that application. If there is some unexpected user load on some fine day, how does the application behave? It should not, response times may be slower, but it should not throw errors. It should not throw errors under unexpected user load, isn't it? It should not display page can't be displayed or 404 not found, etc. So slight increase in the response times is acceptable. Whenever you have more than expected user load, slight increase in the response times are acceptable. But application should not throw errors or it should not break down, it should not crash, isn't it? So that is, we in scalability, we check that. This shows application's ability to handle increasing user load without performance degradation. Right? And the next factor is reliability. Reliability means how reliable is the application once the application goes to production. How reliable the application is, and will users have positive experience on once it goes into production. So that is what reliability means. So these are the 4 major factors for doing performance testing. There are few more reasons for doing performance testing, which we will discuss today. But these are the 4 important factors for doing performance testing, right? These are the 4 important factors for doing performance testing. Okay. And now performance metrics, we will discuss it later. So what is meant by client side metrics and what are server side metrics, we will discuss that later. But if you want to define performance testing, you can define as a define performance testing as a non-functional testing to determine an application's speed, stability, scalability, and reliability. Okay. And let me move on to the next slide. So what are the goals of performance testing for a already existing application and for a newly developed application? Okay. See, these are generic actually. So for any application, whether it is a newly developed application or a already existing application, these are the 4 major factors for doing performance testing. Now let us understand what are the reasons for, or what are the goals of performance testing for an already existing application and for a newly developed application. Right? First, we will start with already existing application. That means if an application is already in production environment, which is already live, then why do we do performance testing? What are the reasons for doing performance testing for that existing application? So first and foremost reason for doing, so understood guys, let us take some WhatsApp example. Okay, WhatsApp is already in production from many years, isn't it? Everyone is using WhatsApp from many years. Now, does WhatsApp require performance testing, continuous performance testing? Let us understand that. Or when does WhatsApp require performance testing? Right? So whenever some new feature or functionality is added to the application, whenever a new feature or new functionality is added to the application, we have to do again performance testing. Even though it is an existing application, we have to do performance testing. So can someone tell what are the new features added to WhatsApp case? Everyone is using WhatsApp, right? Personal WhatsApp, business WhatsApp. I see some people using business WhatsApp also, isn't it? So what are the new features introduced to WhatsApp application?
If any picture or video, it can be seen once. The new feature was
Right.
added.
Correct. So previously, recently WhatsApp added one new feature that if you want to restrict the users to forward the image to others, for example, you are sharing an image and you want to restrict that to be shared to others. You want only the recipient to see the image only once. Okay, it should not be available later on. Then WhatsApp has added one new feature recently, right? So whenever you are sharing that image, there will be a icon with hold on, I'll show you that. Is everyone aware of that, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
I believe everyone will be aware of this, right? Because everyone is on WhatsApp only for most of the time. WhatsApp or Facebook and all this social media, right? So WhatsApp could restrict forwarding messages further. WhatsApp will now restrict users to forward messages, and when you are forwarding that message, right? So you will see an icon with number 1, right? Isn't it? So if you click on that, right? So user can open it only once, or he cannot forward it to others, isn't it? I think like we cannot show that on the WhatsApp web actually. On WhatsApp mobile only we can, I think we can use that, isn't it? I don't think we have that on WhatsApp web. Let me try that once. So whenever you are forwarding images, at this place you will get that one symbol. Understood, guys? Anyway, so you're telling that everyone knows that, right? So that feature is not there still in WhatsApp web actually. So but it is there in WhatsApp mobile WhatsApp. You can check that. right? If you use that, if you click that, select that one, right? So you can restrict the user to from not forwarding that image, okay? Or the user can see that only once. User can see that image only once. Clear it? So that is one new feature introduced in WhatsApp. So whenever some new feature is introduced to the application, to the existing application, we have to do performance testing, right? We have to do performance testing whenever some new feature or new functionality is added. Okay, and dark theme is also added, right? Long back, of course, it is added long back, but dark theme is also one new feature added. And there are some features which are there in Telegram but not there in WhatsApp, right? For example, in Telegram we can edit a message. After sending a message, if you want to, if there are some typing mistakes, or if you want to edit it, Telegram has a feature. Yes or no? Did you observe that? We have an edit feature in Telegram, but WhatsApp, we still don't have that feature. They may introduce slowly. They may introduce this year or next year. They will introduce that feature also. So whenever some new feature is added to an existing application, we have to do all types of testing, not only performance testing. We have to do all types of testing: unit testing, functional testing, integration testing, security testing, performance testing, etc. Understood, guys? Even though it is an existing application. Next use case is increasing number of users or adding new users. Whenever there are more number of users, who will be accessing the application. Increasing number of users or adding new users. Suppose I assume that there is an existing application and there will be more number of users, significantly higher number of users. Let me give some example for this. So everyone might have heard this ING Vaishya Bank, right? ING Vaishya Bank, you might have heard this or no?
Yes.
Previously, there was a bank called ING Vaishya Bank, which was acquired by Kotak Mahindra. Are you aware of this news? So ING Vaishya Bank was acquired by, I think last year or before last year, Kotak Mahindra Bank acquired that ING Vaishya Bank. Now, before this acquisition, ING Vaishya Bank has their own website, ingvaishya.com or something. Let's say ING Vaishya Bank, before this acquisition, right? ING Vaishya Bank has a separate website called ING Vaishya Bank. Okay. And the Kotak Mahindra Bank website has kotak.com. This is the net banking website. Let us say ING Vaishya Bank has some 50,000 net banking users. 50,000 net banking users. Kotak Mahindra Bank is a big bank. Let us say it has some 4 lakh net banking users. 4 lakh net banking users. Now, Kotak Mahindra Bank has acquired that ING Vaishya Bank. Means it bought that ING Vaishya Bank. Now, once that acquisition or once that merger is completed, right? Merger is completed, this 50,000 users also will start using this kotak.com website, right? All the previous users of ING Vaishya Bank. Now, ING Vaishya Bank website will be down. They'll bring down that website and post-merger, guys. I'm talking about post-merger. Now, these 50,000 users of ING Vaishya Bank will also start using this kotak.com. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Right? So that is this example. That is the use case of this example. Increasing number of users are adding new users. Right? Now, Kotak Mahindra Bank has increased some additional users, new users who are belonging to ING Vaishya Bank customers. Right? So they will also start using this kotak.com. Now, before merger, before completing the acquisition, Kotak Mahindra Bank has to confirm that if 50,000 new users start using the application, means first of all their accounts will be migrated to kotak.com. First of all those accounts will be migrated, and kotak.com, Kotak Mahindra Bank, they should verify whether their application supports those 50,000 additional users or not. Yes or no? And only they can announce the merger is complete. The merger is complete, isn't it? So this is the example, one example of increasing number of users or adding new users. Or else, we can take some more examples. Some 4 to 5 associate state banks. Associate state banks. That means State Bank of Hyderabad, State Bank of Mysore, and State Bank of Bikaner and Jaipur. Right? Those all got merged into State Bank of India. in 2020 or in 2020, I remember, if I remember it correctly, right? Some 4 to 5 banks are merged with the State Bank of India. Now, post this merger, the other banks users will start using online SBI.com, isn't it? State Bank of India net banking website is online SBI.com. If I remember it, is it correct? Anyone having yes, online SBI.com, isn't it? Now, all the other bank users like State Bank of Hyderabad or Bharti Mahila Bank was one bank which was merged with State Bank of India. You are aware of that news, right? Or no?
No.
In 2020 or somewhere, see, all these banks got merged into State Bank of India, State Bank of Hyderabad, State Bank of Travancore, Bikaner and Jaipur, and Bharti Mahila Bank. Right? So before merger, they have their own websites. For example, Bharti Mahila Bank is completely an independent other web bank. They will have their own website. Right? Now, after merger, everyone will start using the State Bank of India, right? Now, State Bank of India has to migrate all their accounts to State Bank of India database, and they have to verify whether other users, their State Bank of India website is supporting all those users or not, right? So this is the example for increasing number of users or adding new users. That's very important interview question. So performance testing enduku chestam? In what all scenarios we do performance testing? In what all scenarios we have to do performance testing? Or else they may ask you, why do we do performance testing for an already existing application? Assume that there is an already existing application for many years. In what scenarios we do performance testing for an already existing application? And you have to remember these, these points, right? And next, whenever there is some major software upgrade or whenever there is a software upgrade like database or OS migration on the servers, whenever there is a software upgrade like database or OS migration on the servers, let us say your application is running on Windows 10 till last year. Now, Microsoft has released Windows 11 recently, right? Last year they released Windows 11. Now, that is if any server is getting Windows 11 update, right? That is called as OS migration on the servers. Means if the client want to upgrade the operating system on the servers, that is called as OS migration. So whenever there is some OS migration or whenever there is database upgrade, right? Let us say, a application IRCTC or online SBI.com or any other application is using Oracle 15 or something. Now let's say Oracle has released a new version of database. Now client want to upgrade the database. So before upgrading it in production environment lo upgrade cheskune mundu, first of all, they will upgrade in the test environment. We already discussed that. For performance testing, there will be a dedicated environment called test environment, isn't it? First, they will upgrade it in the test environment and do the performance testing, and then they will upgrade in the production environment. They will not upgrade directly in the production environment because if something goes wrong, if there are some performance issues, right? End users will be impacted, isn't it? Directly production environment lo cheste, if there are some performance issues, the end users will be impacted. So first of all, they will upgrade that in the test environment, do the performance testing, and then they will upgrade in the production environment. Is everyone able to follow, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Suppose you are. We'll take some real life examples. Suppose you are expecting some guests this weekend, right? And you want to prepare some special recipe. Let's say you want to prepare some new recipe, which you are not, comfortable with, right? So, kottaga recipe try chestunaru. You want to try some new recipe. So, but you will not try once all your guests come, right? On that day, you will not try, isn't it? Before that, today or tomorrow, like you will try it once with in a smaller quantity. Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
To all the ladies who are in the session, I am explaining this for you only, guys. Okay. Suppose if you are expecting some guests, on this weekend or next month, you have a family function, small function, and you want to try a new dish or new sweet. So first of all, you will do some trials, right? You will prepare that dish or that sweet before that party day, and you will make sure that you are getting good result, right? Unless until if you don't have, if you want the party to be successful, right? You will try it before, isn't it? So in the same way here also, if the client want to upgrade the operating system or upgrade the database, they will not try it in production directly. They will first upgrade it in test environment, do performance testing, and then if it goes well, if everything goes fine, and if when we are upgrading, we expect some better experience than before. Yes or no? See, when we are upgrading to Windows from Windows 10 to Windows 11, we expect Windows 11 to be faster or Windows 11 to be very user friendly, isn't it? Otherwise, we will not be interested. Why should we upgrade it? Yes or no, guys? So in the same way, once we test that in the test environment, we upgrade in the test environment, and once we make sure that it is working good, then only we will upgrade it in the production environment, right? So for then, in that case also we do performance testing. And then if there is any hardware upgrade on the servers, if there is any hardware upgrade, what is meant by hardware upgrade? If you want to upgrade your RAM on your system or network card on your system. Okay, let me give some example for this. Suppose if you are having 8 GB RAM on your system or 4 GB RAM on your system, and let us say when you are opening multiple applications together, right? Like Slack or Teams, or you are opening multiple applications, whatever the application may be. Let's say your application is hanging, your system is hanging, right? Then what do you generally do, guys? If your system is hanging when you open some multiple programs, right? First thing you will check, what do you do, guys, generally?
How
Close the background application.
what is the capacity of our system?
Right. So let's say your capacity of your system is limiting your programs. Means when you open too many programs, your application is hanging. First, you will check, if you are having some good knowledge on computers, like first you will check go to task manager and check the performance tab, right? You see what is the issue first of all. You will check if it is a CPU issue or it is a memory issue. See, sometimes what happens is if you don't have enough RAM on your system, observe here, CPU utilization, see here, CPU utilization has hit 90%, see here, isn't it? And memory utilization also is going up. Suppose if you open multiple programs, few more programs, right? I'll open some multiple programs like LoadRunner or JMeter. Okay. Now see here, the memory consumption and CPU consumption will go up, right? Will go up drastically now if you are opening too many programs at once, isn't it? Let the task manager come up. This is hiding, this is covering that. Let's see here. See here, now your memory consumption went up to 63%. The CPU utilization, see here. Okay, it spiked like this, isn't it? Now, if your memory is hitting 100%, let's say your memory is hitting 100%, and your system is hanging. So you can upgrade the RAM, right? You can add some more RAM very easily, right? Isn't it? Yes or no, guys? Suppose you have 4 GB RAM. And by the way, those who are having 4 GB RAM, please upgrade your RAM as soon as possible before we start the tool. Okay, because you will be using Zoom meeting and you'll be using one tool at any point of time. Let's say LoadRunner or JMeter at any point of time, and you will be running the sample application also. So anyone who is having 4 GB RAM, please upgrade to minimum 8 GB. Okay, it doesn't cost you much. 4 GB RAM is costing somewhere around 1,000 rupees now, only now. Okay. Nowadays, 4 GB RAM is costing 1,000 rupees. Depending, of course, it depends on the location also where you are staying, right? And depends on the shopkeeper also. So, but please upgrade the RAM to at least 8 GB. Okay, those who are having 4 GB. And how to check that? Go to Task Manager and check how much RAM you currently have on your system, particularly non-computer space. This is for non-computer space. Background test. Please check the RAM on your machine and make sure at least 8 GB of RAM is available. Yes. Any queries? Your voice is breaking, Raju. So you can call me after the session, okay, if you have any queries. Right? Because like Zoom meeting will take 700 to 800 MB. MB of RAM. You can see here, see how much it is taking, see here. Okay, currently it is taking 400 MB. You can see here, Zoom meeting is taking 400 MB, isn't it? So Vision is taking 122 MB. Google Chrome is taking 840 MB. Here you can see here how much RAM each application is taking. In process, you can check that how much memory each application is taking and how much CPU each application is taking. See here, Zoom meeting is taking 15% of CPU, isn't it? 10 to 15% of CPU is consumed by Zoom meeting itself. Clear, guys? So, but processor upgradation is very costly, but RAM upgradation is not that much costly, isn't it, guys? So if anyone is having 4 GB RAM, please upgrade it as soon as possible. Okay. So this is called hardware upgrade. Now, once you do, so let's say you go to the shop and upgrade your RAM, right? Now, what do you check is immediately after upgrading the RAM, what do you check? You will open all the programs, which are freezing or hanging your computer, and you check how they are working now. Yes or no? Hey guys, those who are having background noise, please mute yourself. Okay, so suppose if your system is hanging when you are opening multiple programs, and you observed that you concluded that RAM is the issue. Let's say RAM is hitting 100%, memory consumption is hitting 100%. Now you upgrade the RAM. You will go to the computer shop and hardware shop, and you'll ask them to upgrade the RAM. Now, once they upgrade the RAM, what do you do, guys? Generally, you will relaunch the programs and check, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So you test whether whether adding that RAM has brought in some improved performance or not, improved the performance of your system or not, isn't it? So that is called as a hardware upgrade, right? That you have upgraded RAM here in this case. That is called as hardware upgrade on the servers. Of course, servers means we'll discuss what is web server, what is app server, and what is DB server. We'll discuss that in the coming up sessions. But whenever you do some hardware upgrade, again we have to do performance testing on the application, right? So we'll do that in test environment, do the performance testing, and if it is giving better results, then you will go to production. You will do the same thing in the production environment, right? And after fixing any performance issues also, let us say an application is having performance issues. After fixing performance issues also, we repeat the performance testing again to make sure that the issues are fixed, isn't it? To make sure that the issues are fixed, we will do performance testing after fixing those performance issues. Clear, case?
Correct.
Right? And as an ongoing or continuous activity in each sprint. What is the meaning of this ongoing or continuous activity in each sprint? So any application development is a continuous activity. You take WhatsApp or Flipkart or Amazon or Amazon or any application, IRCTC or online SBI net banking application. So any application development is an ongoing activity, continuous activity. Every month or every sprint, what is meant by sprint now? So sprint means generally 2 weeks duration is considered as one sprint. 2 weeks of duration is considered as one sprint. Okay, most of the companies are following 2 week sprint now. That means, let us say now we are in April 2nd fortnight, right? This is April 2nd first fortnight. We are still in April first fortnight. From 17th to 29th, 17th to 29th, this is second fortnight of April. Okay, fortnight. What is meant by fortnight, guys? Fortnight and Telugulo Paksham antam. 15 days is called as one fortnight. A month consists of two fortnights, right? So each fortnight is considered as one sprint, or 2 weeks of duration is considered as one sprint. 2 weeks of duration is considered as one sprint. That means from April 17th to 29th or 28th, that will be considered as one sprint. From April 3rd to 14th till today, this is one sprint. Okay. first sprint or first fortnight of April. April 3rd నుంచి 14th వరకు, right? That is April 3 to 14th. This 2 weeks duration is called as, sprint one in April. So we are in Q2 actually, quarter 2. We are in quarter 2. I hope you know what is, that quarter, right? So April, Jan to March is considered as first quarter. March is considered as first quarter. Understood, guys? So Jan to first is considered as first quarter. Then April, May, June till June is considered as second quarter, Q2 antam, right? So we are in Q2 sprint 1 now, right? Let us say in Q2 sprint 1, is it clear now, guys? 3 to 14, April 3 to 14 is called as Q2 sprint 1. Is it clear, guys? First of all, sprint means 2-week duration is considered as one sprint in most of the companies, right? So from April 17th to 28th is considered as second sprint. April 17th to 28th. This is called as Q2 sprint 2. Right? Now, Q2 sprint 1, in Q2 sprint 1, let's assume that developers made some changes to the, developers added some new feature to the application. Let's assume that developers added some new feature to the application in Q2 sprint 1. Now in Q2 sprint 2, we will be testing that new feature. We will be testing the application along with that new feature. Understood, guys? So in this sprint, developers will not keep idle in this Q2 sprint 2. They will be adding some more new feature, or they will be updating some bugs. They will be fixing some bugs, application bugs. And we will test that in May month, May 1st sprint. Able to follow, guys?
Yes.
So application development is an ongoing activity. So testing is also an ongoing activity. In each sprint, developers will be adding some new feature, making some code changes, and in the next sprint, we will be testing that application from our side. Testing team will be working on testing that application. So performance, all these types of testing is a continuous activity. The reason why I am explaining this is, some people ask this question. So will we have performance testing, or will we have feature for testing career, right? So as far as software development is there, testing will be done. Testing will be there. So development ఉన్నంత వరకు, software development ఉన్నంత వరకు testing ki feature, testing కూడా feature ఉంటుంది. Got it, guys? So it is an ongoing activity. It is not a one-time activity. That's what I want to clarify. Clear, guys? So these are the scenarios in which we have to do, testing, whether it is functional testing or automation testing or performance testing or security testing. So it is an ongoing activity or continuous activity in each sprint. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now these are the scenarios where we have to do performance testing for an already existing application. Now is it clear before moving to the next section? So is it clear for everyone or any queries?
Sir, I had one doubt.
Yes.
యాక్చువల్లీ మనకు ఫ్లిప్కార్ట్ కానీ అమెజాన్ ఏదైనా కానీ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ 1 lakh యూజర్ కి తీసారనుకోండి, 1 lakh యూజర్ కి టెస్టింగ్ ఇస్తారు. అట్ ఏ టైం 1 lakh యూజర్స్ అయితే ఏమి ఓపెన్ చేసి చూడరు కదా. బట్ సంథింగ్ ఇలా బ్యాంక్ అలా మీరు మెర్జ్ చేయనే అంటారు కదా. ఇప్పుడు సిండికేట్ now they are merging with Canara Bank. Now their customers, syndicate customers, maybe it may be 1 lakh unte, Canara వాళ్ళు ఒక 1 lakh ఉండొచ్చు, మేబీ 2 lakhs people at a time ఇది చేయరు కాబట్టి అలాంటప్పుడు అంటే ఐ నో దట్ బట్ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ నేను ఒక దానిగా అయితే నేను ఇంక్రీజ్ చేయాలి, అది ఓకే. బట్ అట్ టైం ఒకే టైం అయితే చేయరు కదా, నా క్వశ్చన్ అన్నమాట.
Okay. So good question. So actually, when I say 1 lakh users here, Amazon or Flipkart, there will be, like there may be 10 lakh users who will be actually using this Amazon or Flipkart. Yes or no?
Yeah, correct.
But at a time, 1 lakh users, we are assuming that at any point of time, we have 1 lakh concurrent user load. That is important, right? Yes, you are correct. All the users may not be using the application at once. Right? Some may be using the application in the morning, some may be placing an order in the afternoon or evening. But we are talking about, 1 lakh concurrent users. 1 lakh concurrent users means at a time, if the user load is 1 lakh across, see, Amazon will be used across country, right? It will not have only 1 lakh users. It will have at least, smartphones itself, what is the count of smartphones in India? Okay, let me see that smartphones. Or Amazon users. Let us see Amazon users in India. Total number of users. Amazon users, and it will show for Amazon. Maybe it shows for AWS. Users in India 2023. Right? At least, Amazon application, shopping application, at least there will be 10 lakh users or 50 lakh users. Top Amazon statistics. Okay, let us see this. Okay, see, there are 100 million registered users. In India, Amazon has 100 million registered users. But we are talking about concurrent users only. Got it? At a time, entamandi use chestuntaru. Or during the peak load, let's say from 10 to 11, there will be peak load on the server. So at that time, how many users are using? We are considering those statistics. Got it, Geeta? Understood?
యాక్చువల్గా ఇంకొక డౌట్ ఏంటంటే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ వాళ్ళు క్లయింట్ ముందుగానే మనకి రెఫర్ చేస్తారు కదండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళకు 1 lakh మైన యూజర్స్ ఓపెన్ చేయడానికి ముందుగానే 2 lakhs మైన తీసుకుంటారు కదా ఆల్రెడీ.
What is that?
ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్స్ వాళ్ళు ముందుగానే 2 lakhs మైన కూడా ఓపెన్ చేయొచ్చు అనే ఇదిగానే ఇంకా ఎక్కువగానే అప్లికేషన్ రన్ తీసుకుంటారు కదా.
No, see, they will spend before merger, right? Kotak Mahindra Bank, if we take Kotak Mahindra Bank example. So before merger, let's say they have 5 lakh users, net banking users. Okay. So they will have the infrastructure sufficient for 5 lakh or max 6 lakh. 10-20% buffer between.
Okay.
Right. But they will not install they will not have the capacity to handle 10 lakh users or 15 lakh users. When 5 lakh users normally use the application, they will not have capacity for 10 lakh or 15 lakh users, isn't it? They will not invest that much, right? Or they will not keep their servers ready for 10 lakh or 15 lakh users, even though 5 lakh users only will be using the application.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Mean they maintain little much more of a buffer.
They will keep some buffer. They will keep some, because see, on a normal day they may be having 5 lakh users. But what if on a end of the month or first week of every month, they can expect more user load at that time, isn't it? Generally, we'll be using net banking application mostly on last day of the month to check our salaries, right? Whether our salary got credited or not, isn't it? Well, whether salary got deposited into our account or not, we'll check that. Or to make the loan payments or credit card payments, we generally log in mostly during the first week of month, isn't it? So they will take that load, they will consider that load. At that time, their application should support. That is the expected user load. Generally, they will take the first week of every month if it is a net banking application. If it is a net banking application, or even Flipkart, Amazon also, most of the users buy during the first week of the month when they get their salaries, isn't it? Most of the users, I'm talking about majority of the users, right? So the expected user load will be like the normal user load on the first week of the month for a net banking application, right? But whenever there is a flash sale or big billion sale, there will be more number of users. Or whenever how can I say that? Suppose there are some rumors on HDFC Bank some time before. So HDFC Bank, there are some, or S Bank, let's say, right? S Bank got some rumors. S Bank got some troubles last year. Now everyone, there are large queues before the S Bank ATMs, and everyone started, transferring their amount to other bank. whenever there are some rumors on some bank, right? We cannot expect the load at that time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? So that is unexpected user load. So, they will not be prepared for that unexpected user load, obviously. Isn't it? All the applications will not be prepared for that unexpected user load. So if they want to check whether their application supports that unexpected user load, so they have to do that performance testing. They have to do that performance testing, isn't it? When there are additional number of users are accessing the application, well, how is your application performing? If they want to determine that, we have to do performance testing. Then only you'll come to know that. Is it clear?
Yeah, clear, sir. Clear, sir. Thank you.
Now let us see what are the scenarios in which we do performance testing for a newly built application, right? For a newly built application, what is the purpose of doing? What are the goals of performance testing for a newly built application? First one is assess readiness of production environment and determine user capacity of existing system. Let us say an application was newly developed. It is not still into production. Real-time users, it is not into live environment, right? Then why do we do performance testing? Is to assess readiness of production, means how ready that application is to go into production, and to determine the user load capacity of that application. How many users can that application support? How many users can that application support? To determine that, we do performance testing for a newly built application, right? That is one of the reason. And compare performance characteristics with different system configurations. To compare the performance characteristics with different system configurations. System configuration means it can be software configuration or a hardware configuration. So when you say system configuration, right, it can be hardware configuration or software configuration. Or software configuration. What is meant by hardware configuration? We already discussed that hardware configuration. We already discussed that in the first session. You remember?
RAM, SSD.
SSD means movable parts.
Movable parts. Okay. So hardware configuration means your processor, your RAM utilization, RAM capacity, and all this, right? So, and software configuration means settings, software settings, the application software settings, right? So with what configuration your application gives better performance? If you want to compare the performance of the application with different system configurations. So first we will check with some hardware configuration. Again, we may upgrade the RAM. If we found that, that hardware is not sufficient, we may add some RAM and we may test it again, right? Or in the same way, software configuration means number of threads, number of threads, and number of database connection pool size. We'll discuss all those in the coming up sessions, right? But for now, remember that system configuration means your software configuration or hardware configuration, right? If you want to compare the performance with different configurations, we have to do performance testing. And support system tuning or application tuning. If you want to support your application tuning. Now let us understand what is meant by performance tuning or application tuning. I'll give some bike example for this to help you understand this. I'll give some application tuning or system tuning. I'll give some bike example for this. So let us say, you are having, you have a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, and it is not giving good mileage, right? It is not giving good mileage. Now, what will if you take it to a mechanic or a technician, so what does he do, guys? Let's say if it is a service is in good condition. Let us say you are doing servicing in regular intervals, and there is no issue with the servicing, but you are still not getting good mileage. And you take it to a mechanic, a bike mechanic or a car mechanic, and you tell them like, you are not getting good mileage. You are getting very poor mileage. Now, what does he do? What does the mechanic does?
He will change the engine.
What is that?
He will change the engine.
He'll change the engine
Servicing.
tuning. He'll change the engine tuning or engine beating, right? if your engine's beating is very fast, you will not get good mileage. Yes or no? అంటే మీరు ఐడియల్ గా ఉంచినప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేసి ఐడియల్ గా ఉంచినప్పుడు వెన్ ఎవర్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ యాక్సిలరేటింగ్, అప్పుడు కూడా ఇఫ్ యువర్ ఇంజిన్ ఈస్ బీటింగ్ వెరీ ఫాస్ట్ ఆర్ యువర్ ఇంజిన్ బీటింగ్ ఈస్ వెరీ ఫాస్ట్, ఇట్ విల్ నాట్ గివ్ గుడ్ మైలేజ్, రైట్? సో హీ విల్ ట్యూన్ ద ఇంజిన్, he will adjust the engine, isn't it? So adjusting means, you know, if you make it very slow, your vehicle will be stopping frequently, right? So slow down, I mean, whenever you are not accelerating, whenever you are not giving accelerator, it will stop, right? So he has to maintain a balance between that. Your engine should not be stopped when you are in neutral and idle. At the same time, it should not be running faster than required, isn't it? So he does some engine tuning, right? He will adjust the system, he will adjust the engine tuning, isn't it? So in the same way, application tuning means, application tuning also is the same way. So we have to adjust, or we have to configure the system properly to get better performance. For that is called as application tuning or system tuning. Clear this? So to support that system tuning also, we do this performance testing. If we found some performance issues and we want to get better performance from the application, right? So we do multiple rounds of performance testing. We do multiple rounds of performance testing. So these are the three important scenarios where you have to do performance testing for a newly developed application. Not only this, so we have to do performance testing for various other scenarios, creating benchmarks for future systems, comparing application performance on multiple platforms, etc., etc. We will discuss this tomorrow. The remaining concepts we will discuss tomorrow. I will stop it here, guys, for today. Okay. So any queries be in these concepts, whatever we discussed today? So
Sir, while developing the application, the developer don't take the performance test.
no, developers will not be able to do performance testing. So we have to do, there will be a separate dedicated team for that. Developers, they will have their own work, you know, they will have a lot of issues. They have to upgrade, they have to update themselves with the latest technologies, right? And they will have their own headaches. They have to make sure that their code is working perfectly fine. They have to write a better code. They will focus on that. But you know, like the testing, for testing, there will be a separate team. And if developers only are doing testing and performance, they will certify everything is good. They may certify that everything is good. Yes or no? See, generally, if you observe, development will be done by one company and testing will be done by another company. Most of the clients are very smart today. So they will not give testing to the company which is doing development. Because if they give testing to the same company, they may say that they may certify that application is wonderful. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So they will give it to some other company. They will do testing. They will give the testing job to some other company. Got it? So, and you know, developers will not do testing. In 99% of the projects, developers will not do testing also.
Okay, sir. Means nowadays DevOps is there, na, sir. In that DevOps performance testing is also there.
No, man. No.
They do good.
See, some companies may be following that. Very few companies follow that. So we have something called a full, what is that? SDETs, right? There is something called SDETs. Some companies are expecting SDETs. SDETs means they have to do development of front and back and everything, right? Or some companies are asking full stack QA engineers. Full stack QA engineers means, what is meant by full stack QA? Full stack QA means that engineer should be, if a software engineer is able to do automation testing, performance testing, security testing, all types of testing, that is called as full stack QA engineer. So some companies are expecting this, you know, to all the types of testing to be done by the same team, right? But most of the cases, you will have separate team for functional testing, separate team for non-functional testing. Most of the companies. Right? But in very rare cases, some companies are recruiting such resources. Right? In the same way, SDETs. Right? SDETs means so they have to do front-end development, back-end development, everything. The complete development should be, a person should be able to develop front-end, back-end, everything. Understood? So that, some companies are recruiting, for resources like that. But in most of the cases, you have separate team for UI development, separate team for back-end development. In the same way, in testing also, you'll have separate team for functional testing, separate team for non-functional testing. Again, non-functional testing, we have performance testing, security testing. So I haven't seen anyone who knows both, at least both performance testing and security testing and all those types of testing. I haven't seen, it's a very rare case that you have someone who can do all types of testing.
Okay.
Any other queries, guys, before we close for today?
Yes, sir. I mean, PTLC, like STLC and SDLC, we have stages. So today we have topic PTLC, performance testing life cycle. So is it still it is in progress, right? So it is not completed.
No, I haven't started it. We started discussing with, why do we do performance testing for an already existing application and newly developed application? Yes, performance testing has different phases like requirement gathering, scripting, test executions, reporting, and all those. We will discuss that, most probably tomorrow.
Okay.
Any other queries, guys? Okay, if you don't have any other queries, let me pause recording.